What's up, y'all? And welcome back to Dad Needs to Talk. I'm your host, Robert, and today we are here because Ragnarok is coming. And no, I'm not talking about the recent events of the manga Undead Unluck. I am, of course, referring to the game God of War Ragnarok. Now, the lead up to this title is immense in many ways, and the connection that I have with this franchise now with my son is something I never could have imagined would be the case many years ago, back when I first started getting into the series. Now, today I'm gonna take y'all on a journey back in time for a multitude of reasons, because I feel like I just want to give, like I said, a little bit of story time, a little bit of inspiration to those out there, especially those that are parents, whether you're a father, a mother, a new parent, you've been a parent for a long time, or you're somebody who's about to be a parent. I just want to talk to y'all about my journey into this, and to let y'all know that, hey, even once you become a parent, that the fun doesn't have to stop. The gaming doesn't have to stop. The manga and the anime does not have to stop. Because I know there's a lot of stereotypes or certain sayings of like, oh, once you have kids, fun time's over. No. No, that is definitely not the case. And so we're going to look at my journey to this moment, because this week as a whole is, the stars have aligned in so many ways, because the same year my son was born in 2017, just like this week, we had got a One Piece movie beginning of 2017, and we just got one this weekend. Now, while God of War 28, the first God of War didn't come out that year, it came out within months of Vash being born, which I'm gonna get to very shortly. But the crazy fact that after all these years, I get the new One Piece movie, Vash's birthday, and God of War Ragnarok all within a week. And so when it was announced that God of War Ragnarok was going to be coming out on November 9th, and my son's birthday is on November 8th, I was like, there's no way I could let this time pass without talking about it and just taking a lovely trip down memory lane. So, like I said, for those of y'all who might be new here, like I said, my name is Rob, aka Father of Vash, and that is very literal. Because, yes, much like the series I have behind me, Vash from Trigon, my youngest son is named Vash. And so this is a story, this is a journey of my first full year as a father, because those of y'all that might have been following me for a while know that I have a blended family. So my wife already had 4 kids when I met her. They were all very young. But, of course, y'all know when it comes to those situations, there's a lot of extra people involved, their fathers and other people in the family and stuff, whatever. And so when it came down to the year 2017 and my son was about to be born, it was a whole different ball game, because this was going to be 100% me. No other input, obviously aside from my wife, but no other input from anybody else of like, hey, I don't like the way, you're, raising my kid, or I don't agree with this and that or whatever. It's like, no, this is all 100% on me. And so I want to show y'all, and I want to say, for those who might be audio only listeners, I highly encourage y'all to check out the video version of this, because this will be very visual heavy. But I want y'all to go on this journey with me to see how we got from this image of me and Vash when he was 5 months old when God of War came out till now. And let me get Vash now. So I want y'all to see, this is what 5 years of fatherhood looks like. Vash, come here. Say hi.
Hi.
What's your name?
Vash.
Yeah. So let's get ready to go on this journey with my first year of fatherhood with my son Vash. So, going back in time, man. So we had just came out of the holidays of 2016, and I had just proposed to my then girlfriend at the time, and so we kind of had things planned and set for, hey, summer 2017, we're gonna get married, do the whole shebang. But it was a journey to get to the wedding and then getting to Vash being born. So, start off the year nice and strong. I'm feeling good. One Piece Film Gold had just came out over here in the U.S. Well, first I had just had my birthday, January 6th, just turned 27. Then saw One Piece Film Gold a couple weeks later, which coincidentally the same day it came out here in Dallas was the same day that Nintendo did the big Nintendo Switch reveal event, which all these years later, I regret rushing home too, because the hype got to me, because literally I was at the One Piece premiere where they had the entire voice cast of One Piece there, and they all literally sat right in front of me. And you know what? Robert was like, you know what? Forget that. I'm going to go home and see this Nintendo Switch event or whatever. And so in hindsight, later that night when I saw pictures on Funimation's Twitter account and stuff, for the One Piece Twitter account, I'm like, that could have been me. But it is what it is. So go on from there. And of course, Horizon Zero Dawn comes out the end of February, right before the Nintendo Switch and Zelda Breath of the Wild come out, which I got all of it. And it was a glorious time. I'm playing games. My wife is playing games, just chilling, having a good old time. And then sometime in March, my wife had found out that she was expecting. And so that led to a lot of course, like mixed emotions, because of course it's like, okay, hey, cool, happy, we're having our first child together. But it's also this thing of like the wedding. Because there's been a lot of, years of build up and things of that nature. But, we continue to, soldier on and stuff, whatever. But little did we know that the road ahead would get very bumpy. But I will say along the way, though, some more very awesome games, some of my all-time favorites, or just some very awesome little gems that I love, or my wife love, came out along the way. Because from January to the summer, aside, like I said, from Horizon and Zelda and the Switch launch or whatever, we also had Night in the Woods come out. We also had Nier Automata, What Remains of Edith Finch, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which I loved and I got into heavy with all my kids, including even my nieces and nephews. And one of my wife's little favorites that her friends got hooked onto, Friday the 13th. So we rocking and rolling, and then the craziness begins. Towards the end of June, I found out I got laid off from my job, which was a month before our planned wedding. And so, but little did I know that this kind of was a slight blessing in disguise. Of course, it was hard to see at the moment, but I'll just say now, because of me being unemployed pretty much up until end of November, December of that year, um, it did lead to me being able to bond with my wife more. Um, it led to me being able to, and I also got a chance to go to all of the doctor's appointments. So I was there for all of the different sonograms and things of that nature to kind of see the baby's progress throughout the year and stuff. But like I said, it definitely wasn't it definitely wasn't easy. But like I said, there were some bright spots along the way, mixed in with some craziness because of course we had the wedding. The wedding was wonderful. Both of our families got together. And plus, that's also where we actually revealed that we were expecting because prior to the wedding, the only people who knew that we were expecting a child was my mom and my sister, my wife's grandparents, and her parent and her parents and stuff. But other than that, even like some of like my closest friends didn't and family didn't know until literally at the wedding. At the reception, we was like, "Hey, we got an announcement. Baby's coming in a few months." So that was definitely just very crazy to go through and experience and stuff. So, but we went through it. We made it. Had one little hiccup. One of the kids was playing with the window in the car, and the freaking window got stuck. And of course, I'm not working, so we're kind of tight on money. So we pretty much rode around for like months with that window kind of like stuck halfway down. But getting back into the games and stuff, and it feels like so many of these games that came out along the way, also like I said, just like the themes of some of these games were just also just very fitting for this time in my life as well. Because like I said, Not in the Woods and Near Automata and What Remains of Edith Finch and Hollow Knight was also mixed in there, along with Life is Strange Before the Storm. And yeah, just so many awesome games along the way. And that has been one beautiful thing about my life these last several years, with my wife, my partner that I have, is of course with her also being a big nerd and gamer like me. We both gave each other that time to still enjoy the things we want to love and enjoy, and also bond together over this stuff too. But yeah, so we continue to truck along, doing the doctor's appointments and all this stuff like that. And right before the birth, there was a very huge gaming release weekend. I almost forgot about this little hidden gem too. Right before Vash was born, one of my close friends, they got him a Vash the Stampede onesie to celebrate his the Stampede on the horizon. Now, October 27th, 2017, one of the most memorable and insane gaming release days that I can remember. Now, a lot of y'all probably do remember because on the same day, we got Mario Odyssey, Assassin's Creed Origins, and Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, all on the same day. Now, I was in gaming heaven that whole little part of time, just because it's like, oh my God, so many awesome games from so many series that I love are coming out. Let's dive in. Now, does this look like the does this look like the image of a man who's about to be a father in a couple of weeks? Got my Mario Odyssey hat, my Dragon Ball jacket, my Assassin's Creed shirt, just living my life in the best way possible. Uh, but like I said, just to show y'all that you can be a nerd and parent as well. But yeah, just living good up until and gaming good literally up until birth. I was literally playing, I literally finished playing Wolfenstein 2 in the hospital. I wish I would have thought, I wish I had my wife to take a picture of me playing this freaking game in the hospital room. But I'll never forget because, like I said, it was like a couple, maybe like a night or so before, a couple nights before, whatever. Because I had rented it from Redbox because, I'm strapped for cash. I was barely able to get Assassin's Creed and Mario Odyssey, and I'm like, man, I want to play Wolfenstein also. But shout out / RIP to Redbox Gaming because that sucker came in clutch. Because I rented it and blew through that game. Because I never forget, like I said, I was like playing, and then I remember because it was due that night. So I played and finished Wolfenstein in the hospital, and then like left the hospital for a few minutes to go run back and turn it in before literally like minutes before the time was up. But yeah, playing that and like I said, playing Assassin's Creed Origins because that game was a shift for the series, but also the fact that the main character Bayek and his wife, the story surrounded them and their child. Uh, and so that was another kind of like a beautiful connection as well to play this game in this moment in time. And so, yeah. And so then here we are, Fatherhood. One of my favorite photos. One of the first nights when we got him home. And this was like a true sign because my wife, of course, took this while we were asleep, and it was like there is no denying that is your child. Because look at that, he's literally posed up in the exact same position, hand and all. I love it. Like I said, that is one of my all-time favorite photos. But literally the next night, more insanity struck because my favorite, my car, my baby, my Ford Escape. It was late at night. I had a sweet tooth, and I was like, man, I want to go to the store, give me a little snack, whatever. And same light I go through all the time, whatever. Same light I have to go through now, all these years later. Freaking car runs the light and totals my car. But luckily, I made it out with minor bruises and stuff, whatever. Obviously nothing fatal or whatever. But here we are now down another vehicle that I had fully paid off. I had just fully paid it off like a year or so ago before this happened. And so, yeah, but through tragedy, more bright things emerged because I soon finally get a job offer at one of the biggest hospitals here in the area, and thus put me back on course to living a bigger and better life. Now, sometimes people wonder like, okay, hey, when did you know, or when did you think that your child might be into gaming? Well, let me tell you. This picture was literally taken maybe a couple of weeks after he was born. So he was born on November 8th. The time step on this picture was November 24th. So just a couple of weeks later, he's sitting there. My wife has him while she's playing the game. And I could not take this picture. Because look at that. The concentration. He's enamored by the controller. And all these years later, I was like, that's the moment I knew that my son, he had it in him. You know how people say he got that dog in him? He had that controller in him. But yeah, that moment when this picture was taken, I was like, yeah, yeah, my son is gonna be in it. It is in his veins, and yeah, it proved very much so. All these years later, now fast forward 5 months to this picture I showed y'all earlier of when God of War 2018 came out, April 20th, 2018. Vash was 5 months old. So, the God of War series as a whole. Now, I got into the series pretty late. Of course, I had always heard of it and knew of it and stuff, but honestly, it wasn't until God of War 3 was coming out at the beginning of 2010. I was in college, and I was like, you know what? The trailers look super dope or whatever. I've always heard good things about it. Let me check this series out. So I bought the little that's when they had just came out with the God of War HD collection that had 1 and 2 and the PSP games all on it. So I played through all of them, then dove into God of War 3. Really enjoyed all of them, whatever, super crazy, dope games. But little did I know or suspect that I would have a bonded connection with Kratos, because when they first started showing off trailers for God of War 2018, I did not know I would have a son by the time the game came out, because they started showing that game off, I think, like 2016 or so. And so seeing that Kratos was back, some time had passed. He also now has a son, and he is trying to find his way on this journey with his son. Like I said, it seemed cool, of course, going into it or whatever, but once Vash was born and playing through that game with him in my lap was just a whole other type of experience. And I want to say shout out to I think he was like the main creative director of that game, and he also worked on some previous God of War games, Cory Barlog, because PlayStation and Sony Santa Monica, the studio that makes God of War, after the game released, they put out this kind of like a documentary thing called God of War Raising Kratos, where it basically tells the story of the whole creative journey of the game and the people involved making it. And Cory Barlog, he also was going through a journey, of course, taking on this new role, but also himself as a father with his child growing up through the years of production of this game. And so, like I said, it just kind of just like the sense of family and fatherhood and parenting and stuff just continues to perpetuate through everything surrounding this game and stuff. And also shout out to another dope thing, which once again just tying everything together about Cory, is that he's also a fan of the series Vinland Saga, which for those who do not know is also a series that follows, or that's kind of like a Viking and Norse themed. So that was something I found out years later. He had picked up some copies of the manga and that he was enjoying it. So I was like, it's pretty dope. And of course, with season 2 of the anime coming out in a couple of months and stuff, it's just like, man, everything is just coming full circle. But yeah, so playing that game, it was just, I don't know, because the game itself, of course, was freaking awesome. So freaking awesome. But I feel like it was just a whole nother level of connection. Like I said, like playing it as a dad. And so, yeah, it just kind of just made that game so special for me. And so just seeing Kratos' journey throughout that game of trying to navigate the conversations, his feelings, struggling with some things he's done in the past, who he was in the past, and then trying to find a way forward with his son spoke to me in so many ways because, myself growing up, I didn't have a father in home. And so being a father, being a stepfather, all these years, it's been a lot of trial and error. I know I have not been nowhere near perfect, but I've just been trying my best, because it's like, okay, of course, I have an older brother and uncles and male figures that were in my life, whatever, but that's not necessarily the same as like having a father in the home every day raising you. And so even just saying the words dad or daddy or father never really came out of my mouth growing up. And so now I have a son who comes up to me when he needs stuff, or just in general is like, hi dada, hey daddy, all that stuff, whatever. And it is just such a special feeling hearing those words that were once so foreign to me throughout my life, pretty much, And so, yeah, God of War, I feel like was a truly special gem, was a masterpiece in so many ways. And so, yeah, and like I said, just the fact that Ragnarok is upon us and it's going to be coming the day after my son's birthday. Who would have thought that the stars would line up in this way? But they did. And I'm very much looking forward to playing the game. Hopefully I can get it soon. And also along with that very dope looking controller as well. Just because it incorporates so many things that I just love. My favorite animal is a wolf. My favorite color is blue. And so just the fact that it's like, oh, it's a blue controller that says God of War, and it also has the two wolves on it or whatever. I'm just like, PlayStation, you got me. But yeah, and another dope thing I forgot to mention as well, back when Vash was first born, the very first thing I got to read to him that following weekend when it came out, I got to read him it was a One Piece manga chapter 885, which for those who might not remember, that was the chapter when it was deep in the Luffy versus Katakuri fight. And it was the chapter when Luffy took Brûlé and escaped into the mirror and stuff like that. So that was another very awesome feeling, just holding my son, cuddled up, and reading him One Piece. Which is just like, how can life and these connections get any better? But the gaming continued to be great throughout later that first year, because months later, some other honorable mentions I just want to mention real quick. Detroit Become Human and a little hidden gem that I loved, Moonlighter. Those came out along the way, but the big one, two big ones that came out for me towards the end of the year. In September 2018, we got Spider-Man. And of course, I got a memorable picture of that moment as well. Vash, he is about, I think, 10 months here. On top of November. Yeah, he was 10 months when Spider-Man 2018 came out. And that was another very awesome thing. I'm wearing my Spider-Man shirt. He's wearing his Spider-Man onesie. He's in Dada's lap as we're just swinging through the city of New York. And once again, just the story in that game was so awesome and so beautiful. Just getting to experience that once again with my son, which we kind of got another kind of a cool repeat moment with that as well. Years later, of course, because I've loved getting to take pictures and stuff throughout these years with updates of as like sequels to certain games to come out or whatever, getting updated pictures and stuff of him. And just a quick shout out to Spider-Man Miles Morales at the PS5 launch 3 years later, and or I guess 2 years later from 2018. And Vash is 3 now, which is so wild. But I just love that I have these photos to kind of go back and reflect on. But after Spider-Man, the other big one that came out over after that was Red Dead Redemption 2. The whole tone and vibe, that game, I appreciated that game for the kind of like, I guess it's for one, just the setting in general, being in the Old West, giant world to explore, super detailed. It was perfect for a dad gaming because I could just take my time, enjoy the journey, and of course, what a wonderful journey it was. Just getting to play that game, getting to explore that world. But okay, see, your boy's on point. I did get a picture with me and Vash, and I'm wearing my Red Dead Redemption 1 shirt I got freaking many years prior, back when I worked at GameStop, and was getting free mess and stuff to that. But I totally forgot about this picture. I love it. But yeah. So God of War, Spider-Man, Red Dead 2, Mario Odyssey, all these games along the way have just meant so much to me, so much to my son, so much to my family. And getting to experience the stuff with a miniature version of me, there's nothing else like it. And so I just want to say, I encourage everybody out there, like I said, if you are a parent, or if you're a parent to be, to know and be encouraged that just because you have a child or about to have a child, that yeah, of course there's going to be some changes, there's going to be some adjustments that will have to be made, but you do not have to give up the things you love and the things you enjoy just because you have somebody depending on you, because that just means that, hey, okay, now you have somebody to share those loves and passions with. Because years later now, like I said, Vash, he'll be 5. Then in a couple of days from when I'm recording this, he'll be 5 now, and he's in pre-K, so he just started school. And the fact that he is already at a point to where me and him can run co-op in games and stuff, it is just super dope. But there is nothing more special than having somebody to share your loves and your passion with. Whether it's nieces and nephews, stepkids, your children. Cherish these moments, because kids grow up fast. Because like I said, long before I was a father, I was an uncle, and I'm 32 right now, and I've been an uncle since I was 4. So I've had many nieces and nephews over the years. Some of them that I literally grew up with. Some of them I have been in more of a parental figure type of uncle, but the feelings never changed that I have been lucky and blessed to have so many amazing kids along the way who have shared and enjoyed my passion for all things nerdy, from cartoons to video games to manga to anime. Because my middle boy, he was just asking me, like, hey, have you heard of Seven Deadly Sins? And I'm like, yes, son. Yes, I have. But yeah, so cherish the moments. Take lots of pictures, lots of video. Because before you know it, they're not going to be just a little child that you're holding in the palm of your hand, or that you can carry around with one arm. Now, like Vash, he is now half the length of my torso. My oldest boy, my oldest stepson, he was 5 when I met my wife, and he just turned 14, and he's almost my height now. He's just in middle school. And so, but yeah, my whole family, it has been a journey over the years, and through all the rough patches and stuff. I wouldn't change it for the world. And so I hope that someday, if any of my kids, any of my nieces and nephews, if any of y'all see this down the road, just know that, Uncle Robert, your dad, I did my best along the way, and I hope you enjoyed the journey, because I surely did. And I look forward to many more memories being made. I look forward to, like I said, once again, hopefully getting my hands on God of War Ragnarök in the coming days, and then being able to reflect on that, depending on what Kratos and Atreus' journey is through that game, and who knows what other life lessons and stuff I might take from that game, from all these games, from all these manga, from everything nerdy that I have enjoyed. And of course, one thing that I for sure took from the first game, boy, I say it all day, every day. Boy, come here. Boy, clean on your bed. And stuff. So, but yeah, I'm a nerdy dad through and through. I quote stuff from movies and anime and stuff, whatever, to where I'll be surprised to see the day if some of my kids find out. They're like, wait, he was quoting Thanos. Because I've given speeches many times. My kids be like balancing things out, and as far as like, equivalent exchange, as far as like, hey, you do good things will happen. You do bad things, there are consequences, and all these things like that. So shout out to all the nerdy stuff out there for giving me memorable quotes that I can then use as life lessons for my kids. But anywho, I hope that you have enjoyed this short journey down memory lane with me. Like I said, this is something that I have had in my mind to do for a while. Maybe didn't get to do it as fully and cleanly and fancy editing and stuff as I would have liked to, but I felt like the message was more important than all the visuals and stuff along the way. But like I said, parents out there, or even just adults in general, hey, do your nerdy stuff. Read your manga, watch some anime, play your video games, and continue to live your best life. Because here at Dad Needs to Talk, that's what I talk about, and that's what I preach all the time. Self-care. Don't let life, family, kids, I know it's a lot to keep up with. Like I said, I know that better than anybody. Married, 5 kids, 3 of them are in sports all year round. And so I live a very busy life, but I do my best to try to carve out, even if it's a little bit of time, to watch what I want to watch, get a little bit of gaming in, or even, hey, I'm just going to go spend some time at the bookstore and just browse some shelves in peace and quiet. Um, get that me time in because it is very important, because it is very easy when you have the weight of the world, when you have the weight and responsibility as a parent, as an adult, as somebody who has to maintain a household, to feel like, man, I can't rest, I gotta keep going or whatever. But even if it's just for a brief moment, get time for yourself. You'll thank me later. Um, but yeah, but I look forward to more check-ins in the future because, like I said, it's lots of dope things on the horizon. Like I said, just things that tied in. Because speaking of, I mentioned Near Automata earlier. There's an anime for that coming out um, early next year in January, my birthday month. Same month as freaking uh, Villain Saga Season 2. Same month as The Last of Us live action TV series. So, same month as the reboot to Trigun called Trigun Stampede. It's all coming full circle, baby. And it is an era that I hope to look back on fondly with tons of memories. But enough of that. Like I said, once again, thank you so much for watching and or listening. If you enjoyed what you saw, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what connections you have with God of War, or if there have been any other series that you have bonded over with, whether it be when you were younger with your parents, or now that you're a parent, something that you're bonding over with your kids with. Let me know, because I would love to hear some of y'all's stories and things of that nature. But once again, shout out to everybody that's been involved with God of War, everybody that's been involved with any of these series that I have talked about today. Ichiro Oda for One Piece. So many people. So many people. I can't sit up here and name them all, but just know that all of y'all's hard work and blood, sweat, and tears is much appreciated. But y'all take it easy. I love y'all. And like I said a while ago, and as my usual sign off, treat yourself to something nice. Read some manga. Watch some anime and TV. Play some video games. And live your best life. Y'all be easy. Y'all have an awesome day. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.